Yeah, I definitely think so. The time that I've got a chance to spend with Paul, you know, similar to Russell from the standpoint of a guy that maybe wasn't as heavily recruited out of high school, and really has had to work and develop and evolve into the player that he's become. And I think that they both can really, really help each other. They're both great guys. I really enjoyed my time with he and his family last week, and then obviously a little bit more here the last day and a half. But I think it starts with the kind of character of both of them, the kind of people that they are, and as competitive as they both are, I think they'll be a very really good match, working well together. Well, I think for him it was probably relatively emotional, if I can only imagine. I saw, a guy like Taj coming in, going through, a trade and being in a place. And, Paul was in Indiana for quite some time. And I think the initial part of that, and I was, he was kind enough to open up his home and had a chance to meet his family pretty quickly after it happened. It's more, getting to know him. It's not necessarily a lot of talk about basketball, but more about his family, high school, college, NBA. And I think throughout the course of the summer, we'll have more and more of an opportunity to sit down and talk about basketball and those kind of things. But it was really more just to get to know him a little bit more as a person and get to know a little bit more about his family and just his background and, what he's been through throughout the course of his life.
You're going to coach Paul the next year. There's an expectation that you'll also be recruiting him to stay. How do you balance those two objectives?
Yeah, I think for me is Paul, I believe, really, really wants to win. It's important to him. So I think that you can't get focused on something down the road, and you've got to try to, I think as a coach, do the best job you can each and every day to put the rest of the team, in position for us to play well. And I think that that's a process that has to take place every single day. So it's not something I can really probably spend a lot of time worrying about. I mean, I got a lot of those, I think, questions also, as it related to Kevin's situation, where you just trying to do the very, very best job we can collectively, coaches and players, of getting better each day to try to improve. And Paul's been in the league for a long time. He's been around for a long time. And, I think that he understands that each and every day he's going to have to come out there and, put his best foot forward. And I think he's always done that throughout his career, and that's why he's evolved into the player he is today.
What excites you most about adding him to the mix on both ends of the floor?
Well, I think that's just it, is he does a lot of different things on both ends of the floor. I think with Andre and Paul, certainly on the perimeter, those two guys defensively have guarded a lot of different players. I think also with Russell, at the point guard spot, the three of them on the perimeter have got great length and size and range. Offensively, he can do it in a lot of different ways. He's really good moving without the ball, coming off screens. He's good in elbow, short, post-up ISO situations. And he also can play in pick and roll. But the thing also that's great about him, too, is as terrific as he is offensively, he's an extremely willing passer. And he tries to make the right play and the right basketball play for the team.
Billy, you've always placed a high emphasis on defense. Looking at the potential for this team's defense next season, that's got to get you pretty excited.
No, I am excited. Certainly, Patrick Patterson's a unique player defensively. Raymond, the same thing, and obviously Paul. Coupled with a Steven Adams and an Andre Robertson and different guys on our team, I think that we can be very, very good defensively. The biggest part, I think, going forward, because our team has changed. Even last year, half our roster was different. We were very, very young, and obviously it's changed again. I think an important part for us will be this summer, these guys spending some time with each other, getting to know each other, and developing a relationship and a connection moving forward, that they've got a better understanding of each other going into training camp.
A year ago after Kevin made his decision, I know you guys had to continue the process, but a lot of fans very down. Here we are a year later, and those fans packed in there tonight to see that emotion, excitement. What did that mean to you to sort of see where they are now in their enthusiasm?
Well, the one thing I've always admired and have been very, very humbled and extremely appreciative of is the way the fans year in and year out, rally around the team and the players. It's really, really remarkable. And certainly our team this past season was a lot different than my first year. But the enthusiasm and the passion for the team never changes, never wavers. And I think you could see that tonight by the turnout to welcome and greet Paul. It's really a unique and amazing place. And, I don't take our fans and what they do for granted, because it's not like this at a lot of places. And I thought what a great first impression of the people of Oklahoma City and the state of Oklahoma, how they feel about the Thunder. And I think Paul got a really good up close and personal look at that.
These veteran additions,
Came back from that broken leg and the process and the player he became after that. What does that tell you about the kind of guy that you just had?
Well, I think it's just part of probably his journey in life. I think when you look at the fact of even talking to him about coming out of high school and then going into college and ending up at Fresno State and then being able to leave after his sophomore year, I mean, obviously he's made an incredible investment into the game, and then he's developing into the player that he is today, an all-star. He goes through a situation where he breaks his leg, a terrible injury, and probably a lot of people question where he would be coming from that injury. And it's a great tribute to him and to his drive of probably going back to the things that made him the player he was, are the same exact things that allowed him to overcome that and get back to where he was before the injury.
Billy, you took over this team when you had a top 5 guy in Kevin. Now that you got Paul, how much does that kind of bring things back to the normalcy of when you first came to the Thunder and when you had Kevin in that small forward position?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's always a little bit different because you're always dealing with different personalities and different players and different things. And I wouldn't, because it's the same position, it's easy to say, okay, it's going to kind of go back to that. But there's no question the level of player that Paul is, of being able to play on both ends of the floor, makes our team better. There's no question about that. So how can we find different ways, unique ways to try to utilize and take advantage of his skill set? And there's different things that he can do that I think will help our team and help the players around him. And that's what you want to be able to do, is have everybody kind of complement each other.
Can having a guy like Paul help a guy like Andre when he's sliding back to his position that he played alongside?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably understand it maybe a little clearer what you said there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing for Andre, which I have the utmost respect for, of what he did defensively last year, and I was really, really happy to see him get recognized on the all defensive team, because he really deserved it, because it was every single night, it was a different position on the perimeter that he guarded. And he took that challenge on and really has shown people the kind of defender that he is. And then I think to your point of Paul's ability to guard so many different positions, we'll have, I think, the luxury of utilizing both of those guys on different situations and different players.
Billy, your process right now, have you been consumed with just, you watched a lot of Paul, have you watched a lot of video, have you watched Patrick and Raymond and all that?
Yeah, I mean, I went back, I mean, as much as I can, watch the Cleveland-Indiana series in the playoffs, watch film on Patrick, Raymond. You want to be able to do that just to see different things that they had success in, things that they did well. Looking at what they're doing and how it complements the rest of our guys. So, I mean, I've been spending a lot of time the last week since all this has kind of transpired watching film. We'll continue to do it, really throughout the course of the summer.
Is it you to watch that stuff and just see, just have new challenges, new things?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's what you're trying to do. From a philosophical standpoint, there's certain things I really, really believe in offensively that would probably be broad stroke things. But I think if you play the same system all the time, sometimes a system doesn't fit a player, and you have to come up with things. You can have an identity and a philosophy and a style that you want to play, but you also want to be inside of that, put these guys in positions where they can utilize the skill sets that they've been blessed with. And I think that's, our responsibility, my responsibility as a coach and the rest of our staff, is to do that, where we can put these guys in position to be successful. And maybe some of the things that we did last year offensively, may not be the best thing for this team offensively. And you've got to try to figure out what are those things. And for me, going through the film of watching that, I enjoy that part of it, of trying to, figure out ways that we can help complement each other.
Billy, what are your Thoughts on using Paul as a ball handler, and then what are the advantages you see of him and the skill set he has at that size of being a guy who could potentially handle the ball for you?
Well, off the backboard, there's nobody better from rim to rim than Russell. I mean, he just is. Paul has got a great ability because of his size, because of his ball handling ability, because of his vision to bring it off the backboard too. I think there could be some great opportunities even if he does rebound the basketball and Russell gets out and he's advancing up to Russell and vice versa. I think it gives us another complementary ball handler on the break that can obviously make some plays and do some things. As I said earlier, Paul passing the basketball, he's always, at least watching him on film, he always appears to be trying to make the right basketball play. And that's what you really want. He's a very willing passer. He's a willing mover on offense. And to your point, I think that he can also help make guys better. Maybe he helps Alex Abrines. He helps Doug McDermott. He helps Steven. He can help. And hopefully our other guys will help him. And everybody's kind of complimenting each other.